since there's chocolate chips as well, but you can use that. I just decided to use regular brown sugar because that's what the recipe called for. Then you need all-purpose flour, you need butter, salt, chocolate chips, eggs, and vanilla. So I already pre-measured everything out so I could make this a little quicker. So first you're gonna add your sugar, your granulated sugar. Then you're gonna add 2/3 of a cup of packed brown sugar. Then you're adding, you want your butter to be soft, not melted, but almost melted. So I've had this sitting out for a couple of hours. You need 2/3 a cup of this too. And then you need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I only have half a teaspoon, so I have to do 4. Okay, then you want to mix it up till it's all really creamy. And the thing about Splenda is that since it's not real sugar, it kind of makes your mixture a little chunky looking, like it doesn't look as smooth as if you're making real cookies. So I'm just going to mix it up really quick. And the butter kind of gets weird and flaky in Splenda, and I freaked out last night because I was making the cookies and I thought my butter was bad or something. But then I just looked it up online and it said that since Splenda is not real sugar, it makes the butter get kind of weird. I would recommend using a hand mixer too because it kind of takes a while when you're using a regular spoon, especially since there's so many dry ingredients. Okay, so this is kind of chunky, but we'll just leave it like this. Hopefully it'll break down more as I stir it. Then you want to add 2 eggs, but you're only going to add 1 at a time, and you want to mix it until the 1 egg is completely stirred in, so it looks like you don't have any egg in there yet. Any egg in there anymore. And when the Splenda also reacts with the egg, and it makes it kind of like a weird bubbly thing that goes on. I thought it looks carbonated almost, but that's normal too. That goes away when you add the flour. And add another egg. Okay, then you add 1.5 cups of flour, just all regular, all white-purpose flour. You add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then you need a teaspoon of baking soda. Oops. And then when you mix all this stuff together, all the bubbles and all the weird graininess go away. Then when it starts to look like cookie dough, you add your chocolate chips. And there, you're also adding 1 cup of chocolate chips. And then you just work those in. And then what's important when you're making Splenda cookies, when you scoop it out, you want to do just about a teaspoon size because it doesn't spread very easily by itself. So you want to do about a teaspoon size, and you just put it on the plate or your baking sheet. And it's supposed to be ungreased, but my cookies were sticking, so I used parchment paper to make sure they didn't stick. And then you just push down the center with a fork or your fingers to help them spread out, since they won't spread out naturally like a regular cookie would. And then you just bake them at 350 for 10 to 12 minutes and you're done. So I want to thank you guys for coming to my presentation. Oh, the assistants are going to pass out the cookies. I brought cookies that I made with Splenda, and then I brought cookies that I made with real sugar so that you guys can see the difference of the texture and how they taste and stuff. But yeah, I want to thank you for coming to my presentation. Now you know a little bit about diabetes and cooking with sugar substitutes. Are there any questions?
Are you going to tell us which cookie is which, or?
You guys can guess first. You'll probably be able to tell because they're pretty different.
And so what would be the difference in the textures or the taste? Or?
The Splenda ones, they actually tasted like real cookies. They just kind of came out like fluffy. So they kind of remind me of pancakes when I eat them. Like they have a pancakey texture. And then the regular sugar ones obviously are a little bit more flat and not as like puffy.
Okay.
Any other questions?